The YSL RICO trial of rapper Young Thug is on pause indefinitely as Judge Glanville has been removed from the case. Defense lawyers for Young Thug and for another defendant joined with his case argued that the judge should no longer be presiding over the case because of an ex parte meeting. You'll recall this, we told you about this, that he had with prosecutors and with the prosecution witness. It did not include the defense attorneys. Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, was then held in contempt. You'll remember that as well, I'm sure, when he questioned the judge about it and wouldn't reveal how he learned about that private ex parte meeting. So now Brian Steele still continues serving his sentence. I mean, he's serving jail time on weekends with his client, Young Thug. What a legal hero he is, but that's beside the point. Now, this case was referred to another judge to decide about the motions requesting recusal. That judge said yes. While she believes that the Honorable Glanville would be able to continue presiding over the case fairly, she said in order to prevent the appearance of impropriety and maintain integrity of the system, we're going to ask him to step aside and we're going to reassign the case to another judge. So now we wonder, is this the beginning of the end for this case? I mean, this case that started back in 2023, this case that took 10 months to pick the jury, this case where there were upwards of 20 defendants initially, and they're being referred to as Atlanta's most violent street gang, and yet most of them have been offered plea deals of probation to plead out, and some of them being asked to give testimony. Let's talk about what's going to happen with this. I want to bring in attorneys Melba Pearson and Matthew Mangino to talk more about this. What a mess this case is. You both, what a mess. It's just, what a train wreck. Melba, would you start us off, please? Do you think this could be encouraging for Thug and the other defendants here getting a new judge?
I think that that's going to be a mixed bag, because it's sort of like, it's the devil you know, right? So not calling the judge devil, but just saying at least you're kind of more aware of the way he rules on certain things. They've basically spent 18 months together, even more in terms of pretrial motions and all of that. So they've kind of gotten into a rhythm with him. Now they have to learn a new judge, their personality, how they're going to rule on certain things. So that can be a mixed bag. But it is encouraging, especially from the fact that the trial had taken so long. Now you're getting a new judge. That may expedite things to be able to bring you closure and get to a verdict even faster. So I think it could be a mixed bag either way for them.
Yes, I think you said the word everybody was hoping to hear, expedite. Melba, thank you for that. Matthew Mangino, I mean, your thoughts on the length of this? What a mess. What do you think about the new judge coming in?
Well, really, it's extraordinary to switch judges in the middle of a trial. And here, the idea that this judge would have an ex parte meeting with prosecutors and a witness without the defense being present, really brings into question his judgment. And obviously now he's no longer involved in this case. And as you said, the case has been dragged out for months and months. And, maybe a new judge who's going to have to get up to snuff on this case very quickly and review what's happened in the past, because sometimes certainly what's happened in the past is going to have an impact on how this trial moves along. Motions in limine and things like that, that the former judge dealt with throughout this trial, and all of a sudden a new judge is stepping in and has to become aware of all those things to keep the trial moving and to understand how things should progress in this case. So it really is going to be interesting to see how things evolve as a new judge comes into this case.
Right, Matthew. And when we think about the length of time, I liked what you said there, Matthew. You said it's extraordinary to have the switching of the presiding judge right in the middle of things. How about the length, too, of just the jury selection and the length of this trial? I mean, we have broadcasted some of it, but we couldn't possibly show the whole thing. I mean, there's no end in sight. Melba, curious what you think, assessing the state's case. Of course, they've got the burden. Do you think there's a precision problem here? Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the length is problematic because you have the issue of the jurors being, regular people, and they have to now remember what was said at trial 10 months ago, right? So if you're not taking copious notes during the course of the trial, you might forget different details, and that can impact how the deliberation process will go. Not to say they can't have portions read back, but if you can't even remember where to go, you don't even know where to ask the court reporter to go back to in order to get that particular testimony. So, I don't think that this is really helping the state's case, the length of time that this is taking. It definitely benefits the defense, but, we'll see how this goes because it's definitely a mess.
Exactly, and we will keep on watching. Melba Pearson, Matthew Mangino, we always love having you both on opening statements. Thank you for everything this morning. We'll see you soon.